The tendency now for human hackers is focusing on one individual to go into a high value target, a high value organization. Think about, and a lot of this is done through social media. What is the best way to identify insiders within an organization today? It's going to be LinkedIn. We can do a search on LinkedIn. We can identify, a lot of companies, probably a good 20, 30% of their employees might be on LinkedIn. It depends on the company and the industry, but you're going to find a lot of people on LinkedIn who work for a particular organization. Then we can take a look at these people and try to learn as much about them as possible. What are their motivations? What are their vulnerabilities? What makes these people tick as unique individuals? Okay, because we can leverage that then in different attempts to actually manipulate them. One thing that's really dangerous and few people are aware of, different intelligence services and criminal groups will approach targets that they've acquired on social media and pose as executive recruiters. Now think about this. Think about an individual who's working inside a company, gets a phone call from someone who claims to be an executive recruiter, because real executive recruiters do this, right? Real executive recruiters use a lot of different resources, resume data banks, and especially LinkedIn. So they call claiming to be an executive recruiter and saying, listen, I'm very impressed with your profile. I believe you would be a perfect fit for a position we're looking to fill for one of our clients. Of course, the position is a higher title, greater responsibility, and much greater compensation than what they're currently making. Even if they weren't looking to change jobs, they're curious. Why not? What do I have to lose? So they get together with this recruiter who is using a series of regular interview questions, as well as a number of different elicitation techniques. Elicitation is a whole different skill set in its own right. And it's amazing how much information they can extract from this individual during these interviews. A lot of very sensitive information and many times proprietary information. So it might be a one-off discussion and that's all they needed. Maybe they have a series of conversations with the target. And eventually, imagine this. They met with this individual a number of times, had particular jobs. They all fell, these opportunities all fell through. And all of a sudden they say, listen, I know that you had mentioned that someday you would love to be a consultant, independent consultant in this industry. I think I have the perfect opportunity for you. I have a client who is looking for someone who can consult on this industry. So you can stay where you are, earning your salary, earning your benefits, and you can make a lot of additional money on a monthly basis and cut your teeth on learning how to be a consultant. So the individual is providing a lot of really detailed, confidential, sensitive information. This can go on for months. Many times it goes on for years. Organizations are hemorrhaging this information without it being detected, without even knowing that it's taking place. It's amazing. And it works.
That's wild. So what can an individual do to protect themselves?
I'd like to break this down into two areas. One is minimizing your digital footprint out there in the World Wide Web. Sometimes it's difficult. Whether it's an individual or a company, because people like to put themselves out there for promotion. But sometimes they're putting out information that makes themselves much more vulnerable. So they have to be very careful. The more information that's out there, the more likely they will become a target. Because if we're looking at an organization, there's two individuals. One of them has very little information out there. Another one has considerable amount of information. We're going to go after the person that has a lot of information about them. So limiting the information. The second, though, what's really important is trying to avoid becoming a victim to these human hacking attempts, realizing that is not when we reach out to someone, contact someone via social media, for example. That's not the danger. It's when someone we don't know reaches out to us. We should really only be connecting with people that we know or with people who we can verify. And it's not that hard to really verify whether or not this invitation, this person is authentic versus a fake profile. Do a Google search, take the name of that person plus one or more other data points in that person's profile and do the search. If the only thing that surfaces from that information is that profile, it's probably a huge red flag. Believe it. I receive these several times a week. I'm receiving profiles that I detect that they're completely bogus. It's amazing. Some of them are really sophisticated. Other ones are really basic, but there's a lot of them out there.